Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. My name is Nuya and this is Nuya Medicine. This is a reading today for the Manifesting Generator Collective and I'm just going to get right into it. So I asked for a significator card for this reading and we got the Be Fearless card from the Cosmic Oracle. I absolutely love this card and I just cannot get over how well that matches the Manifesting Generator energy. There's just so much and so many different threads coming out of this person. And behind them the lighthouse and the light coming from it, and then the light of the moon and the sea, the ocean, the sky, everything. There's just so much elemental, forceful energy. And when I tuned into your energy for this reading, oh my lord, for full disclosure, I'm a projector. So tuning into other people's energy is natural for me, but I am not a manifesting generator. And when I tuned into your energy, the first thing I had to do was ground it. The sacral was extremely active, and then as I did, it started to rise into the heart, and I felt a massive heart expansion opening up into the throat. And I feel like right now, you may feel like you are revving your engine at the starting line, the manifesting generator signature of having lots of energy and nowhere to go right now, because you have been in an energy of defending how you are, who you are to the people around you, but you're learning to stop doing this. Because you've been learning about yourself and the fact that your energy works the way that it works, and when it's allowed to work the way that it works, when you're allowed to be in your creative flow and do the things that feel right to you. Yes, not all projects get finished because they're not meant to. Some of them are just meant to use up that incredible amount of energy that you have. Some of them are for learning purposes, but some of them, quite a lot of them, do end up coming to fruition in ways nobody could have seen coming if they were trying to predict what you were going to do, because you discover through your flow what is possible. That's the purpose of your energy on Earth. And right now you are in the process of finding which outlets for you are the most valuable to your time. And I think you're probably right now feeling extremely keen to get out there and start expressing your energy. One of the things that stood out to me on both of these cards was the white bird energy, and it's this like, I'm ready to take flight. But there is something just yet that hasn't quite aligned for you to completely take off. I'm sensing this energy of, we've got the Hermit in reverse and the Four of Swords in reverse. The Four of Swords came out first and the Hermit reverse was the clarifier. And I'm getting the sense that there is massive activity in the dream space. You keep getting ideas and clarity coming through in the dream space. And when the Hermit came out reverse, I just got clarification of that inverted energy of it not being the 3D physical reality. It's the internal dream space reality where you are having what I would imagine is revelations about illusions and your true colors, who you really are. So this is the deconditioning process, and if you are aware of human design, I would assume that you are in fact very aware of the fact that deconditioning is necessary, and it's a huge project. Ra Uru Hu said it would take 7 years from the point that people learn about human design, but I think that that's actually speeding up, and it doesn't mean that you could have been deconditioning in other ways before you find human design. We got, in a place close to home, there was a protector, don't forget to let go. And I think this is again speaking to this Seven of Wands in reverse energy. You've had to be so defensive of yourself in the past, but you're learning to face the fear of just being seen as your true self. And this is Kali Ma, facing fear. Major spiritual changes are unfolding. This is your chance to soar. And again, we've got this winged bird-like energy. But then we got the Ace of Wands in reverse, and I was really stuck on this, and I was like, what is this energy trying to say? And I asked for a clarifier and got the Two of Swords, and it's, yes, it's not quite yet. I'm seeing this as being the wand is down by your side. You're ready to lift it. In fact, something in you really wants to, but you have been learning to wait for the invitation, wait for something to respond to before informing the people around you what you're going to do, and then getting into your creative flow and going. And while you're waiting for that, there is something happening around you really embracing the energy of calm, which of all of the types you find the most difficult. And I feel for you. I struggle as a projector, but I cannot imagine having tuned into your energy today. And every time I hang out with manifesting generators, I completely burn myself out, and I'm really having to learn boundaries about that, because your energy has to move and you really need to get it out of your system every day so that when you go to bed, you can actually rest properly. And I think there's a possibility that you're maybe not getting that. That might be speaking to some of what's happening in the dream space. But with the Lions being card, we got the Bond card. And I think there's probably an awful lot of relational stuff happening. I'm really getting the internal relationships, the balance of the masculine and feminine, because what came out next was the Four of Wands reversed, and it was another one I got stuck on. I was thinking about Jupiter and the mother and celebration and the twin flame energy, which I don't define twin flames the way other people do. I'm talking about the balance of masculine and feminine energy within each of us, and finding other people reflecting back to us their balance of masculine and feminine energy. That can be anyone, and that information is available to us from anyone. So I'm not getting into that rabbit hole right now, but I was just getting the real feminine energy from this inverted, and then the sun came out inverted, which is the masculine energy. And I was feeling into this sense of you are in the process of balancing your masculine and feminine energy. And in a way right now, you're probably feeling kind of uprooted, because this Four of Wands also speaks to foundations and stability. So when it's inverted, there's an awful, I mean, obviously the energies of the earth, the world right now, are incredibly unstable. But what I feel like you are managing right now is your masculine energy, which is the action force taking energy, which you are inundated with every day. But you're having to learn how to manage that when it's not clear what it is that you want to do right now. And you are finding ways to embrace the insight that comes with spending time in that internally reflective state, which you can do doing anything. You could be out for a 5-mile run doing that, but you're focusing on the internal experience. And there is something about this ability to perceive internally and having faith in your ability and in the way that things work that you're starting to understand and really come into connection and flow with. That's really starting to gel and flow. So we've got faith, moving mountains, trust in your ability to create miracles. The impossible is becoming possible. And it is absolutely about to be the right time. It's maybe not right. It's maybe not today. It's maybe not tonight. Maybe not in the next few days, but it is about to be. And in the meantime, you're really focusing on maintaining your grounded practices, staying rooted and grounded in the feminine energy of receptivity and flow, and releasing these burdens of the past, these perceptions and projections of other people, these expectations you had set in yourself, all of this conditioned energy that had been put onto you in the past. And you're surrendering to a flow-based state of living, which may be quite difficult, but if you are managing it, I'm sure you're starting to understand this is exactly how your energy is meant to work. We have Azrael, transcendence. You wouldn't be who you are without what you have overcome. Own your story. And I get the sense that for some of you, if not a lot of you, sharing your story is going to be a big part of the work that you're doing in the world, because people are learning from your experiences and your story, what's possible for them, especially other manifesting generators. One of the beautiful gifts of human design is that it starts to help us to understand the ways that our energies naturally flow, so that we can let go of these negative self-beliefs that we have had, that there's something wrong with us, that we should be different. And even though some would argue that manifesting generators are sort of the norm, none of us are conditioned to believe that we are created, or the way that we're acting is correct. We're conditioned to believe that there's something wrong with us and we should change. And the only reason I say manifesting generators are argued to be sort of the default is because under a capitalist, hyper-productive world, people who can go all day and have endless resources of energy and creatively problem solve and get things done arguably could do very well in that system. But you're also presented with people who won't let you do things in your own way, who tell you that, you know, if you're doing something, it has to be for a reason. Everything has to be productive, so you're not supposed to do these things that don't lead to an outcome the way that you'd envisioned it. There are lots of reasons why you're taught that the way that you do things is incorrect, and that's not true. So that's exactly what you are letting go of right now. In a place close to home, there was a garden in full bloom. Feed your soul and thrive. So right now, I feel like what you're doing is nourishing yourself and your creative interest, your pursuits, everything that feels right to you to do right now, you're doing without worrying about whether or not it's going to lead to anything, because you know when the invitations arrive that you are going to follow through, and you'll be ready, because you're going to be in flow, in balance between taking rest and getting the downtime that you need in whatever ways feel restful and restorative to you, and taking action and being creative and having all of your skill sets, you know, warmed up, ready to go. Like I say, just revving at the starting line, just being like, I'm ready, I'm just waiting for that sacral response, and then I am out of here and I'm going to impress the shit out of everyone, everywhere that I go, because that's what you do. You are impressive as hell. And as you embrace that understanding, things really start to change. So last card we got in the pre-spread was anticipation, and that feels like the energy of right now. I feel like you are highly anticipating whatever is to come. And I hope you're spending a lot of time dreaming about what's possible for the future, because what we're focusing on is incredibly important right now, especially in this energy we're in now that Jupiter has gone direct after 4 months of being in retrograde. It's a very dreamy energy, and I don't mean like Piscean dreamy, I mean like dreaming reality into existence by focusing on what we want. And again, I'm getting more dream space energy, focusing on what it is that we are bringing into fruition in the world, what we really want and need. So I'm just asking for, what is the guidance? You're gonna hate it. Oh, you're gonna hate it. Best. Stop. Sorry, I didn't choose the card. The card chose us. Stop, recharge, and self-care. This is the hardest struggle for you guys. I mean, it's hard for all of us, but it's the hardest for you guys because your energy just doesn't want to do it. So I see you, I feel for you. I don't know what it's like, but I'm telling you, you do need rest at the same time. You need to find ways to take rest that actually feel restful to you. If you are forcing yourself to not move when your body is dying to use your energy, that's not rest. It's going to burn off a certain amount of energy by forcing other energy not to move. But energy getting stuck in your system will just increase your frustration and anger, and you don't want that. So exercise, movement, salt baths, salt showers, you know, slow flow, yoga, qigong, meditation, you know, learning ways to harness your energy that don't necessarily have to manifest into the physical like that. That really feels like what this is speaking to. Like this is the physical manifestation of, you know, safety and security in the home. And this isn't what you're experiencing at the moment because you're learning to do it internally in ways that are going to manifest externally. It's, yeah, I'd say it's probably the main challenge right now. Can we get a clarifier on the guidance for right now? What do they need to focus on? I mean, that's a vibe. Look at her just being all cozy and loved up. I mean, I'm a projector, so I love rest. But this is something that everyone needs to be able to do at some points. And as active as you guys are, you definitely need the downtime. But when you have used your energy, it's far more possible for you to rest. So it's not the case of forced rest. It's doing whatever it takes for you to be able to feel like you can. But I feel like you've probably been doing a lot of work on limiting beliefs that had you thinking you weren't allowed. Just on 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm taking this as a very step-by-step iterative process. Feeling that you weren't allowed to rest or that there was something wrong with you. And especially if you're dealing with other people telling you that you shouldn't be doing things the way that you're doing, you're going to have resistance to that. But as you're having resistance to that and it's pushing against something else that's also not true, that's the kind of polarity that can really have us feeling like, well, if that way's wrong, then this way must be right. But neither of them is correct. Recognizing that they're both just polarities of one energy is what allows us to rise out of that and then make a choice that's right for us. And I think that's probably what you've been mastering lately. I was going to say manifesting, but mastering as well. I'm hearing mastering in the musical sense. Maybe some of you are musicians, creatives in that regard. What is this card's theme? Celestial, cosmos, creation, and spiral. Yeah, I'm getting big creative energy. And it may not be that you need lots of massive physical activity in order to move the energy, like creative energy, doing creative practices of all kinds also counts. I'm really looking at the spiral on this and the trifold nature of the imagery. There's really that past, present, future energy, mother, maiden, crone, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Like, I'm not speaking to religion, but you know, you may be searching or studying esoteric concepts, spiritual concepts, but this may just be the different ways that you are exploring your energy because you are always doing multiple things at once, as you should be. There's definitely cosmic energy, as in what is going on in the cosmos is having impact right now, and there is a lot of fiery sun-like energy right now with Neptune and what is the other one in Aries? Saturn? Oh, I've completely blanked. It's Mercury retrograde, which I'm going to blame. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of Aries energy. There's about to be a great pile-up in Aries, or did that happen already? I've lost all track of time, and I'm not an astrologer, so I'm not going to pretend that I am. But yeah, there's a lot of Aries sun fire energy right now, which you may have noticed in the world around us. And this is a really potent time, but it's really important, as I say, that we find the balance of that energy. And I'm looking at the Merkaba on the Shekinah Sacred Self. We've got success, and it's up to you. And I'm getting the sense that like this is within your control, like what you want to manifest, what you want to bring into the world is something that you are absolutely capable of. And we got remain positive on the bottom. And absolutely that's true. And it feels like focusing on successful outcomes. There's wings. Yeah, big bird energy, not Sesame Street Big Bird, although maybe. Is Big Bird a Manny Jenny? No. Big Bird gives reflector vibes, to be honest. It's up to you, success. What success looks like is up to you. And I think you're learning that what other people told you, 1555, is successful doesn't apply. You're creating that for yourself. And that's exactly how you're meant to operate. So keep going. Please keep doing what you're doing. It feels like, yeah, we're destroying old ideas, old concepts, old constructs of what we were conditioned to believe was right for us. And I'm noting at this point the fact that we are moving from the cross of planning into the cross of sleeping phoenix in human design, like the whole of Earth and humanity is moving out of the last 400-year cycle of the incarnation cross of the cross of planning into the incarnation cross of the cross of the sleeping phoenix, which comes into full force next year in 2027. But the transition and shift started in 2017. We've been in a 10-year corridor of change. And as the background energies change, the paradigm that we are living within changes. And because all of the ways that we've been doing things that are culturally normalized everywhere right now are from this old paradigm, we have to bring in the new, and there is nobody better placed for that than the manifesting generators, who are the innovators, the ones who are learning which steps can be skipped and how we get there as efficiently as possible. I mean, we all have roles to play. Projectors have roles to play, reflectors have roles to play, generators, manifestors, everyone has their part, but manifesting generators are absolutely key in this process. And it's really important right now that you are focusing on your unlimited capability to manifest something entirely unique and original, because that's the way your energy is supposed to flow. So what do we need to know right now? What do manifesting generators need to know right now? What is the... I want to ask, what is the core belief that is changing for manifesting generators? What is the core belief? It's too many cards, we'll take a bottom one. The village. Oh, interesting. Because we are moving out of tribal identities and into authentic, unique expressions of self, who then come together in interdependent communities. But what it means to be in the village is changing, has changed. A lot of the resistance that we're experiencing in the world right now is an attempt to go backwards to the cross of the planning's paradigm. But it's not energetically supported anymore, and it certainly won't be by next year. And we are learning what it is to be in communities in ways that are authentic to each of us, where we don't sacrifice our own sense of self and our own sovereignty to some higher architecture or structure or authority. We are reclaiming our own individual sovereignty and learning how to be in right relationship with ourselves, to then be in right relationship with each other, to then see what the next right action to take is, because we're moving from that authentic heart-centered place, which is an incredibly challenging place to get to after all these years of conditioning. But again, this is why we need innovative creatures like manifesting generators. So we have the flame. Yeah, I just heard burning the candle at both ends. And this is, again, actually that's really cross of planning as well, because it was all about productivity. Like, capitalism is the result of the cross of planning. It was the last 400 years, and before that there was feudalism. And I don't know what the paradigm was before then, but the point is that this idea that hyper-productivity is going to get us where we want to go is dying, and we are learning to embrace the one flame within and to cultivate it and take care of it at the pace that is right for us. I think the main challenge for you guys is going to be learning and embracing the practices of self-care in harmony with continuing to take action and doing what feels like it feeds your creative flame. And you are capable. You're absolutely capable of this. I believe in you. I know that it's challenging, but we all have our unique challenges based on our unique types. So this just happens to be your particular challenge. We have the mentor with the owl. Oh, fire energy again underneath. Some of you may be mentors, some of you may be investing in mentorship from some other people that you trust. I think what's going to be really important for you is that you find people who are aligned with where you're going, not with where you've been, not with where we have been either, if you are seeking mentorship. But some of you may well be actually coming out as mentors. Where was the energy I was getting? Yeah, you wouldn't be who you are without what you have overcome on your story. So you may actually be using your story as a way to mentor other people and help them to see. I'm getting again this dream space energy, the internal world. The owl is the eagle of the night. I've heard it said in shamanic circles, because the owl has the best vision at night and the eagle has the best vision in the day. So it's the one that can see from the higher perspective in the underworld, which is a challenging place to be. As someone with heavy Scorpio energy and psychic gifts, I spend most of my time in the underworld. I should probably spend more time upright, and I'm working on that. But yeah, these energies are what we are navigating right now. Yeah, like this just seems like being in the higher perspective above the chaos of the world right now. And we need people who are seeing from this higher perspective and can see where we are going, where we are trying to get to, what the future looks like, not just focused on the past. And not that we absolutely do need to be looking at the past to learn the lessons, but there are some people whose job is to focus on the future, whose role, I don't say job because that's, again, coming from capitalism, but the role you are undertaking is about manifesting the future right now. So yeah, again, this just feels like you being in this like elevated state above the fire of your own sacral energy and allowing it to burn, keeping it fueled, using it and, maintaining it, letting it burn off, but continuing to feed it. But it's not controlling you. You are masterful over your own energy, and that is why you are able to mentor other people. So this seems like, if it's not the role you're in right now, it's very possibly a role you're stepping into, even if it's just for your children or people in your circle or in whatever organizations you work for with, or in your own businesses or creative projects. But it definitely feels like, I saw the number 6 actually before I started this reading, and that is a 6. That feels relevant. Some of you may have been dealing with people who have turned out to not be the kind of friends that you thought they were. To be fair, that is a collective experience we're having right now. We've got the cat, two-faced friend card. Shield, you need to defend yourself. And caterpillar, things will not always be this way. A change is coming. This is a big thread, and in fact the reading I just did on TikTok, which was a general reading, was speaking on this theme. And it's people who were waking up to their own purpose and realizing they'd been tuned into it previously, but they'd had people who had taken that from them. Bread, a period of prosperity and abundance. Club, someone will try to make you do something against your will. Dog, close up, pleasure with a close friend. And courage, a journey, either physical or mental. So this, to me, the club of trying to be forced to do something against your will, is that's the energy of people trying to get you to do things their way. And you're like, that is not why I am here. And unless my sacral says, or just you start doing the thing as a manifesting generator, it's not for you. And you're learning to shield your energy and protect it and to hold that energy within. And to be honest, you have probably had people who've taken advantage of your energy because you had so much, and you probably let them because you had so much, and you're like, well, I might as well use it to do something because, I need to have used it by the end of the day. But if your energy arrives for specific purposes and you get dragged into using it for other things, you don't feel better afterwards. You feel worse. You don't get to use it the way that it was designed. You don't feel like well spent at the end of the day. You don't rest properly, and you don't wake up with a refilled tank. You've still got some of that stagnant energy in your system, and you're probably building resentment towards the people who have been taking your energy and using it in ways that don't work for you. But we are the only ones who can take that control back, and this is the energy of the boundaries. Okay, I'm just getting what the actual message is. You are learning to be fearless in protecting your energy because it has its own purposes. Your soul sends you the energy you need for what your soul plans for you to do, and you're learning to surrender to that. And as you do, you're starting to understand that this is where you come into balance between your masculine and feminine energies, and you start to feel secure and stable in the world and happy and optimistic about your life. Woo! Woo! I love it when it all unlocks right at the end. Good Lord. Yeah, this is hard. And there's the village energy. Yeah, you probably have people around you you probably have a village of people who do depend on you doing the things that you do, the way you've been doing them, which don't serve you, some of them. And this is a journey that you're undertaking to undo that. There's facing fear with Kali Ma as well as be fearless. Major spiritual changes are unfolding. This is your chance to soar. Yeah. And there's that again, that it's up to you energy. Everything about this is just making perfect sense. You are embracing your true self, which does require releasing all of this old way of being and old way of doing, but it has never felt better. It has never felt more like just shaking off the last of a skin that was too tight, that was constricting you, that wasn't allowing you to be your true self and do your true thing in the world. And as real transcendence, you wouldn't be who you are without what you have overcome in your story. I feel like you're no longer resenting people because you recognize that on some level you were choosing this. Now, that's not to detract from conditioning, trauma, karma, inherited ancestral patterns, all of the things that have us acting in ways that aren't in alignment for us, but we didn't necessarily choose. But when we recognize our own power and the fact that we get to make the choice, this is when we do become sovereign, and then we can start doing things our way. And that is worth acknowledging. Okay, yeah, maybe I did bring people into my life and do things that I didn't want to do because I didn't know what else to do at the time, and there was pressure from other people, but also I was programmed to believe I should, that it makes me a good person to use my energy for things that other people need, whether or not it felt like that was what I actually wanted to do with it. And with someone who has a surplus of energy, it's very easy to be taken advantage of like that. It plays out differently for different types, but for you guys, because you have so much energy, I know manifesting generators who do this, they have a very hard time saying no to people because they could do something in 5 minutes that might take somebody else 45, and they're like, oh, fuck. Then in 5 minutes it'll be over and then I can go back to doing whatever I was doing. But that interrupts your creative flow. And then you get the anger and frustration that comes with that from the manifestor side of things. And if your sacral didn't say yes to it, if it said no, you're actually pushing against your own energy to do it. So you've got the resistance to your own energy and the frustration of not having got to use it for what it was for. And by now I'm fairly sure you know that's not how you want to operate in life. So yeah, I'm going to ask for one last card from the Water Oracle, because after all this fire energy, I feel like some water would be nice. What does the Money Jenny collective need to know right now? The Water Carrier, what really matters, reflect and reprioritize. Ain't that the goddamn truth? Because that's exactly what you're doing right now. This is why you're currently taking a little bit of a breather. And if you're not sure, if you're finding that you're like, I don't really know how to figure out what it is that I need to stop doing, ask your guides, ask your higher self, ask your future self. Tell me in my dreams tonight. Show me. I've been doing a lot of this recently, and I have been having massive... There's the underworld on the bottom of the deck. Into the unknown. Underworld depth, courage, and facing your fears. Yeah, there may be things that you are afraid to face, and a lot of what your energy has been doing is other things because you're afraid to put it to what you actually want to put it to. Possibly there are things that you tried in the past that didn't work out, and as a manifesting generator, you were probably shamed for that. And sometimes things we try at one time and they don't get where they're going to go or we wanted them to go, but they may come back again later in a different form, and now is the right time. The point is, you're the one who's going to know, and your authority is going to tell you your sacral response, unless you're an emotional solar plexus manifesting generator, in which case you ride that emotional wave. But you are absolutely in line for what is right for you, and the only thing you need to do to figure out what that is throw off all the stuff that isn't. And if you haven't already done that, I'm sure you're doing some degree of that, but if you haven't already, now is the time to sit back and reflect and reprioritize. Good Lord. That's a huge reading. I'm really glad I did this. I've never done this style of reading before, but I have had this inspiration for a long time, and today was just finally the day. So thank you for being my guinea pigs. And if you would like to offer any feedback in the comments, please do. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear if this resonated or if there's anything going on here that you're feeling you want to speak on. I just noticed I didn't actually say anything on the dog close up. Pleasure with a close friend. I feel like right now what we're really starting to recognize is who has our backs and who has been benefiting from our self-abandonment, who celebrates us being our true selves and doing things our way, who does it feel safe to say no to, who does it feel safe to say, I'm really excited about this too, because when you do that, it supports the thing happening, versus the people that we say, I'm really excited about this thing, and then you feel that, like the withering energy, because that person not only doesn't care, or does care to get in your way, because you're talking about doing something that doesn't benefit them. So we're really getting clear on who is with us and who is not with us. And that feels like really important information right now. So I think that's everything. I do human design readings. I do tarot and oracle readings, and I do energy realignment sessions with Reiki and other energies. I don't have them all listed on my Ko-fi site yet, but I have linked in there what is there at the moment. But if you're interested in anything else, I'll put my email address in the description and you can just drop me a line. If there's any cost issue getting in the way, I'm definitely happy to talk about making things accessible. There are always options to work with me depending on where the finances are, because I have been there and I understand entirely. But yeah, either way, I hope you found this reading supportive, thought-provoking, challenging, interesting, useful in any way, shape or form, and affirming, very possibly. Manifesting generators are absolutely magical beings. I'm so grateful that you're here. Thank you. Please continue to do things your way, because it is the way that works for you, which means that it's the way that works for all of us, because we are actually a collective, and doing things authentically supports the rest of us doing things authentically. So just keep shining your beautiful lighthouse light, my friends. Be fearless and sally forth. Much love, and ta-ra for now.